Hello, it's Cory. Today is Tuesday, January 12th, 2010, and I feel like I'm having a baby epiphany, and I just wanted to share it with all of you. And I hope you appreciate how excited I am and being. And it's fine if you don't, whatever. Okay. But, so I was talking about gender things and thinking and la 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 la, of course. And I realized that, okay, so I was talking about how I have been kind of feeling unable to think about gender lately and feeling maybe non-gendered and not knowing what gender feels like. And my friend told me that I think about how I know things too much, and it seems like a part of my personality is wondering how I know things for sure. And that's definitely true, because about a week ago I was freaking out over, I don't know anything, like 1 + 1 = 2, that's a mathematical construct that humans created, we don't know that, we only know it because it's a tautology. Yeah, it was bad. So I like to consider how we know things a lot, and that can be problematic in trying to figure out what I know, especially in related to something abstract like gender. So I conceded that, and I have brought up that I'd been worrying that I didn't know that I wasn't a woman, and maybe I was in denial and just trying to, I don't know, I felt like this concern that I was deceiving myself and everyone else, and I could sort of like create my father's voice in my head, and it was bad. And then I sort of realized that this is what people talk about when they talk about internalized transphobia and genderqueer phobia. And I was like, wow. And so that was interesting to realize that I had that in relation to me. And then to be thinking about, in terms of the whole binary gender system and what my dad would say, and having to choose and being indecisive, and I, like, the words that came to mind were, you just want to pick everything that's best, you just want to take all the best pieces and have them for you, you can't have everything that you want, it's this or that, like that sort of thing. And we did have that kind of discussion when I told him that I had a girlfriend, and that I still identified as Christian, which wasn't entirely true, but that Christians, there could be gay and bisexual Christians, because that's what we were talking about, and he was like, no, you're rejecting the Bible, you can't be a Christian, you have to choose, don't deceive yourself about your beliefs. And so then I connected, wow, so in thinking about gender, it's kind of like I was thinking about religion a year ago, in that I was always taught and kind of internalized and believed, but always had a problem with, you can only choose from these set categories, and it's not okay to pick bits and pieces and create your own religion or your own gender. Like back in junior high, I was very adamant about this. Some people talk to me about, I think, Wicca and being interested and not having a firm religion, and I was like, oh no, you can't choose a religion like that. Who says you can make up your own religion? Obviously, the ones that are created are the only ones that are valid, and the ones that are in existence. If you make things up for yourself, it won't work. I can't even remember how I felt that way. Except that I guess that's sort of the way that I was subconsciously thinking about gender. And that's the way that my dad talks. But it's really interesting that I was guilting myself about wanting to pick these things that I want for myself. That there are some from the binary male side, and there are some from the binary female side, which is so problematic. And I want aspects of both. And you know what? That's okay. Because I have sort of cobbled together my own religion, kind of I came to identify as Unitarian Universalist and realized that I can believe whatever I want to believe. And it's not really a matter of wanting to believe as much as realizing what I do believe and accepting that and following that and using that and not trying to force that into this framework that's been set up. And so the same applies with gender, in that I can just figure out what's deep down in me and maybe see how that relates to other bits and pieces. Like, as a UU, I kind of pull some Buddhism. I guess I draw on Christianity just because I've had it in my life for so long. And then I just draw on things that appeal to me. And I feel like that's very true for my gender as well. And that I was right in saying a long time ago that my gender was nerd. And even if that's not like my gender, but more the core of my identity, my gender is not so much these things that people say that it has to be. And it's not even necessarily a combination of them. It's just within me. And in the past year, I've really stopped thinking about religion that much. Once I got to the point where I realized that it was okay to pick and choose and realize what worked for me and just flowed. And then it did flow. And I don't even remember all of my thoughts about it anymore. Like, if you asked me what I was waxing philosophical about a year ago, about the nature of God and if he existed, or she or ze or it or whatever pronoun for God, right? Christianity, then masculine gods. No offense to Christians. But I'm using a lot of filler words, I'm sorry. Now I've a little bit lost my train of thought. Yeah, I wouldn't remember all the thoughts that I had about a deity, a higher power. I said some cool things about there being like sort of a life force, something that runs through all of us that isn't really in control but is flowing and connects us all, and that I like to believe moves us toward the greater good. And there are some things that you like to believe, but if you didn't believe them, life wouldn't be really worth living so much, I feel like. And it's important to keep a positive outlook on life, and so there's some things like that too, but I don't think that invalidates them at all. And so hopefully I will get to that point with gender, where I just don't have to really think about it anymore. I don't know if that will happen, because unlike so much with religion, people are always asking questions related to gender on forums and censuses and in the grocery store, except today I actually just got asked, "Your last name?" And I told them, and they were like, "Okay, have a good night," and didn't even then go on to use a surname and then the last name. So that was cool. I don't know why they asked for my last name, but that's interesting. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to escape gender like I have religion, but I feel like they're very parallel in terms of my process and identity. And that was really cool, and I wanted to share that with you. Alright. I hope you're all doing well. Take care. Bye.